Located in the heart of London, England, a centuries-old symbol of a region's power and might stands tall. The Tower of London, a castle steeped in history and renowned for its haunted legacy. Its formidable walls have borne witness to centuries of chilling tales involving torture and imprisonment. But amid the web of folklore and myth, the truth remains elusive. However, genuine accounts of sinister occurrences have woven a shroud of dread around the tower and continue to captivate the imagination of those who dare to explore its haunted walls. Hello and welcome back to TTHL. Today we explore the history and the hauntings of the Tower of London. Construction of the original tower began with wood, but around 1078, efforts shifted towards creating a more enduring stone structure, which would eventually develop into what was called the White Tower, the most heavily fortified part of the castle. This ambitious project spanned decades, resulting in a formidable fortress. The stone for this grand endeavor was imported from Normandy, a former province in northern France, and it was used to craft a towering fortress that soared 90 feet into the sky. The walls at their base were an impressive 15 feet thick. Over the years, successive monarchs expanded the fortress, adding opulent royal quarters, the royal mint, an armory, a menagerie to house exotic animals, and the Jewel House, where the crown jewels are safeguarded to this day. However, it's the eerie and gruesome events that have taken place here that have contributed to its reputation as a haunted location. Throughout its history, the castle's grim past is punctuated by incidents of murder, execution, conflict, and its use as a prison, a role it played from 1100 until 1952. Its notorious reputation for imprisonment, torture, and execution, particularly during the Tudor period between 1485 and 1603, including the reign of Elizabeth I, is deeply unsettling. During this era, physical torture methods were used, such as the rack, a device that stretched the human body, and the scavenger's daughter, which had the opposite effect by compressing it. Prisoners were also subjected to the use of manacles and suspended with their feet off the ground for agonizingly long periods of time, often causing them to lose the use of their limbs for an even longer period, and sometimes permanently. Beyond these physical torments, many endured intense psychological suffering while incarcerated. However, it was the chilling executions within the tower, especially those involving prominent figures, that garnered the most notoriety. Among these infamous executions were those of 3 queens who met their gruesome end on the Tower Green, which stretches west of the White Tower. These dark events have left behind a legacy of the paranormal, giving rise to countless ghostly tales that continue to haunt the castle's corridors. One of the most well-known ghostly apparitions is that of Queen Anne Boleyn, who was the second wife of King Henry VIII. Their marriage took place in January of 1533. Sadly, just 3 short years after giving birth to their first child, a daughter, Queen Anne found herself locked away in the Tower of London. Her arrival, however, was through the infamous Traitor's Gate, a route used by many Tudor-era prisoners. She faced charges of adultery involving several men, including her brother, and conspiring to assassinate the king. Thomas Cromwell, an English statesman and lawyer, brought forth these charges as a way to eliminate Anne, who had fallen out of favor at court and was considered useless due to her inability to produce a male heir to the throne. Many believe these accusations were either exaggerated or entirely fabricated. Nevertheless, Anne underwent a trial and was ultimately found guilty. A little over 2 weeks after her entrance through the Traitor's Gate, she met her fate on Tower Green, where she was beheaded by a swordsman, as per her preference, with Henry's agreement. Anne's lingering spirit is said to wander the castle, frequently spotted near the church where she was laid to rest, and even around the White Tower. She is sometimes seen without her head or carrying her severed head beneath her arm. Another famous haunting at the Tower revolves around the enigmatic tale of the Princes of the Tower. In 1483, following the death of King Edward IV, his 2 young sons, 12-year-old Edward V and 9-year-old Richard of Shrewsbury, Duke of York, were placed under the guardianship of their uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester. It was said to be for their protection. However, the fate of the 2 boys remained shrouded in mystery, as they were never seen alive again. The young princes mysteriously vanished, and not surprisingly, soon after Richard seized the throne, becoming King Richard III. Widespread speculation arose that the boys had been murdered, and this legend gained substantial credibility when, during renovations in 1674, the skeletons of 2 children of similar ages were discovered in a concealed chamber beneath the staircase in the White Tower. The ghosts of these young boys are frequently heard in the White Tower, and they are reported to appear in white nightshirts, cowering in fear in the castle's corners. Additionally, Margaret Pole, the Countess of Salisbury, also met a gruesome fate at the Tower in 1541. Her ordeal began in 1539 when she was sent to the Tower of London, accused of supporting the Church of Rome. Allegations also later believed to be fabricated. 2 years after she arrived at the Tower, she received the shocking news that she would be executed for treason against the king within the hour. When Margaret initially heard of her impending execution, she was understandably perplexed. She knew she hadn't committed any crimes deserving a death sentence. Additionally, the main executioner had been dispatched to battle and was absent. However, in his place, there was an inexperienced young boy, visibly uncertain of himself. Nevertheless, as the awkward executioner prepared to swing his axe, Margaret staunchly refused to place her head on the block, vehemently asserting her innocence. According to one account, she would not hold her head still and moved it from side to side, challenging the boy to take her head as he could. The execution was slow and agonizing, and her screams are said to continue echoing throughout the Tower every year on the anniversary of her death. The walls of the Tower of London are said to be shared by a multitude of spirits, ranging from executed individuals to the apparition of a bear. In addition, former kings, soldiers, and guards are said to still be wandering within the castle. These eerie accounts represent only a portion of the numerous reports of paranormal activity that have surfaced over the Tower's extensive history, cementing its status as one of the most haunted castles in England. We hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching.